Hello and welcome to Coming Into Being, and trying to send my message, but it's not going through. All right, I'm going to go to the Instagram and get that set up and going so we can be there too. And there we are. Okay, we're on both sides. So welcome to Coming Into Being. I'm trying to send out my little message on Restream. I always have something going on with the, there we go. Finally goes through. I always have something going on with the technical stuff, um, because I'm a little technical savvy, but there we go. Okay, we're good to go here. Hello, welcome to Coming Into Being. So this is the space for just taking that time out of your busy schedule to just chill, and in chilling, really coming into that connection to self, to ourselves, to what matters most in our lives, which is ourselves and being. And by doing so, we come into a deeper alignment with ourselves and clear out all those identities, all those pieces that are floating around us that are not part of who we are. We've learned to think of them as part of who we are, but as we clear that, as we go deeper into our beings and connect more deeply and come into our body, because this is a big piece about connecting more deeply, is really coming in and anchoring into our physical beings. And when we do that, we get more and more connected with ourselves and more connected with that deeper aspect of ourselves, all the way up to source. It's really interesting because a lot of people, and I've been through that to some extent, but a lot of people think that they are very connected to their bodies because of activities that they do. And it's not the activity that makes you more anchored into your physical body, it's how you do it. And it's hard to really get a sense of that until you're more deeply connected and you realize it's like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I'm more grounded in myself, because I can say, well, when the way to do an activity so that you're really connected into yourself is to be aware of what you are doing, and be aware of, like if you're cutting vegetables, you become really aware of your fingers holding that carrot. Let's say it's a carrot, and that sensation of the carrot and this, your skin, and holding the knife, and as the knife's going down and feeling that slicing through the carrot. Yvonne, hi, hello, welcome. And being aware, and not just of your hand holding the carrot and the other hand holding the knife, but of your whole body in that space that you're in, nothing else coming into your mind, feeling that energy flow through your body, whether you actually feel it as energy, that alignment of your spine and how things are moving through your body, even as you're cutting the carrot, how that's impacting your whole body. That's the coming into yourself. And so I can describe that, and people will say, but I do that. I've always done that. Yes, and probably not as deeply as you can. So it's always this journey of coming more and more and more and more into ourselves, and more connected into ourselves. And there's been a big guided information, especially in the New Age movement, of this whole ascension process. And so people assume that to ascend, you move up, and you do, but that doesn't mean you move out of your body, that you move up and out of your body. You're actually coming into your body more, and in that process of anchoring more into your time space, anchor your physical body and this time space moment that is yours. That's what makes you ascend higher, because this is what we're here on earth for, is to bring all of that higher knowledge into physical form, because that's the hardest thing to do. Why is it the hardest thing to do? It's because as you come into physical form, there's density that comes in, and with density, you start to forget stuff, basically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having all the problems we're having out there. I mean, think of this logically. It's like people were really remembering all the brilliance that they are in non-physical form and are able to bring that into physical form. We wouldn't need people like Jesus or Buddha or whoever, ascended masters that we have had in on earth. So with that, let's just take a nice deep breath in, hold it at the top, feel yourself holding your breath, feel that tension of holding the breath, and you want to exhale, but you're holding your breath, and then release. And let your breath go all the way out. Follow the breath down and take another breath, just a regular breath. And then on the exhale this time, go all the way down, all the way out. Letting it go all the way out, 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 out. And then at the bottom, don't breathe in, just hold it for a moment there. See if you can hold it for a moment longer. Feel that holding the breath, or holding back from breathing. And then just allow that breath to come back in. Already, just by doing that, you become more present in this moment, because you're so focused on that breath, on holding back the breath or holding in the breath. All your awareness goes to that point. Same with things like bungee jumping. You're so in this present moment, nothing else coming in to distract you away from that. You're completely in the present moment, and that's why it's so exhilarating, because all of a sudden everything moves out of the way. So how can we do this without going bungee jumping or skydiving? All those things that can be done, or holding your breath to eternity. I mean, doing the breath thing is actually an interesting practice, holding the breath. When Wim Hof has a good little explanation on, if you're curious about that. Because there's a way, I mean, he only focuses on the physical aspect of the oxygenation of the system. But in doing that practice, there's a way that it opens up the way, your consciousness, to come in your body and become more present. So anyways, let's take another deep breath in with that. Hold it at the top, and then exhale out. Then just come into normal breath, coming into the awareness of the breath in the chest. So just be aware of your physical body. Breathing, notice that piece of breathing. And slowing down. Notice how your body, as soon as you're tuning into your breath, you're breathing, you're tuning into your body, expanding and contracting with the breath. and letting yourself just be aware of that. And now, as you're aware of your breathing, so you're still aware of your breathing and still feeling yourself breathing, your body movement as you're breathing, right? Hanging into that. Become aware at the same time of the room that you're in, the area that you're in. If you happen to be outside, just the area around you. So it's basically coming into awareness of yourself breathing, and then your awareness stays on yourself, but you become aware of the room that you're in. So you're kind of stepping into that observer mode for yourself. So let's stay with that one for a minute here. Being aware of your breath, your body breathing, and the movement of your body as you breathe in and out. And the room that you're in. So you can have your eyes open, look around. And notice what that brings up for you. There's a little bit of anxiety and fear that's popping up. So if you're feeling anxiety or fear, a little bit nervousness coming up, just notice that. And notice that, I mean, unless there's something in the room that's coming after you, notice that it's like, I imagine if you're sitting here watching this, that you're probably in a pretty safe environment, even if in the room next door there's other stuff going on. But in your immediate environment, it's probably pretty safe. So notice that. Notice that anxiety coming in, or that nervousness, that edginess coming in. When there's no external factor that's really there to trigger it, right? So when you notice that, you go, oh, okay, well, let's put that aside for now. I don't need to go into that mode. Let's just focus in on the breathing a little bit more deeply. Yeah. There we go. That's good. So you can tell yourself these things. You know, when we have things like that come up, probably 95, 99% of the time it's habit, because we've had something that's being triggered. So that's okay. Just be okay with that. And just kind of say that to yourself. It's like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm feeling myself. And you can talk yourself through it and just become more aware. It's like, wow, I can really feel that little shaking in my arms. I can feel that in my lower back. Wherever you feel it, whatever you're noticing. And just be present with that. Just be aware and just go through and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm noticing. And feeling is one of those weird words. Feelings of feeling physically, you're feeling, or if you're feeling things emotionally also. Here I'm usually referring to the physical noticing. And so that will help you to just like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And not get taken in and carried away by that deeper trigger. That's a way of like stepping out of a trigger, is to just like be present, focus on your breath, notice what's coming up. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm noticing this, I'm feeling that, feeling this over here, that's kind of feeling edgy, yeah, I don't feel really comfortable, but my stomach is kind of whatever. And that will walk you out of that trigger, because by doing that, you're becoming so present in the moment. So it's taking you out of that trigger, and a trigger is connected to another time space. It's a trigger because it comes from somewhere else. You've had an experience before, wherever, whenever, that's floating around, and that's popping up when you sit down and notice your breath. And so by noticing your physical sensations and just kind of talking yourself through it, and it's like identifying yourself those through, talking yourself through what you're identifying, that starts to move this other piece away. You can't see my hand because narrow screen here, but it's just pushing it out of the way. So instead of being right here in your face, you're going, okay, yeah, there's this going on, and this thing just starts to float away and float off. And then you're here. You're not connected to that other moment that's acting as a trigger in the current. So really good. All right. Taking another nice deep breath in. Noticing the seat that you're sitting on. Is it hard? Is it soft? Yeah. Noticing your body against that seat. So let's go a little deeper now. Focusing on your breath. I think those explanations were important at the beginning. They make sense, but not everybody realizes or understands it. In doing it, being it. You can understand it up here, but that doesn't get you anywhere. So focusing on what you're sitting on your breath, the space that you're in. And if you want to close your eyes now, that's fine. And just be aware of your body. And just go notice what's coming up in your body. Notice any sensations that you have going on in your body. And list them off for yourself. Go into a little bit deeper space here. Let's just connect into the new earth. Dropping in, dropping down. Hey, Wisdom Happy, hi, good to see you. Slowly just connecting in, we're just focusing on the breath and where we're sitting on, taking this into a deeper space. It's opening up very gently, so kind of a soft moving session here today. Yeah, there we go. So there's a nice, actually nice, pretty solid space here of just that stillness, that being, that sitting in presence of oneself. We always talk about sitting in presence like of a holy person, or like a Buddha or whatever. And we should give ourselves that honor of sitting in presence with ourselves. Because at the deepest core of our beings, we are that which Christ and Buddha and whatever holy person you want to find or choose to identify here. At the deepest core of our beings, we are the same as they are. So in sitting in presence with ourselves, honoring that deepest aspect of our being. Yeah. Yes. So there's a little bit of a like, oh, wow, realization there. That's good. That's nice. So let's grow that awareness of self, the true self, deepest aspect of your being here. Yeah. And just keep focusing on your breath. That's all you need to do, and being aware of your physical body and just being present with yourself as best as you can. If any thoughts pop up, anything else pops in, just kind of notice it and then come back into that awareness. So you can just have your mind focusing on the movement of your body with your breath. Yeah. And just this lightness of being that's coming in. It's interesting because this is kind of coming through as pink, but not the usual association of pink with. It's not the feminine. It's just a very soft color frequency, gentle. I'm just creating more space for that for all of you. Yeah. And in doing so and going more deeply into this, hey Jubilee, oh, you're on both sides. Okay, that's fine. I can't. I'm Instagram, but I'm not seeing it quite right. I gotta move this window down. There we go. So as we go in deeper, just that. Like there's another layer of that's coming in, like just you go to one layer. So we were like in this one layer, and then we dropped in deeper, so that just kind of opened up another expansion. And as each time we do that, there's just this clearing that happens. So sometimes we need to focus in on the stuff that comes up that we need to clear. There's this issue, there's that, whatever. this is an important thing. A way to really clear all that is not to focus on what needs to be cleared, but focus in on ourselves, sitting in presence in that holy way with our being, with ourselves, with our deepest aspect of ourselves. And that by itself clears what is not. Some of you have a little bit of stuff in the heart. So keep focusing on your breath. If you're noticing like emotions or memories of relationships or whatever, okay? Just it's like, oh, that's not me. Come back into your chest more deeply and focus on your breath more and say, this is me. And yeah. That stuff is in your awareness. And so it's shifting out, especially in this space, it's shifting out. So there's no need to hold on to that. Let it just shift out. Focusing back on the breath. You can also, when that comes up, you can always also, notice what's going on with your body, what your body is doing in the presence of that memory or that thought. And just become aware of that. It's like, oh yeah, my stomach's kind of tightening up there. My gut, whoa, okay, that was interesting. My gut feels really tight there. Wow. With this thing, it's like, okay, come back into the breath. There you go. Yeah. Nice opening. So you guys are doing really well. Nice clearing that's happening. Some of you have kind of like dead people around you, like you can call them ghosts if you want. So that could be part of what came up earlier for some people with the anxiety. Because as you sit still, then all of a sudden you start noticing more of what's around you in that non-physical space. Some people have a hard time believing this, but remember that you are in the physical realm. And by definition, you are in physical form. You have more clout. You just have to take it. You just have to stop believing that you don't because you must be this little tiny person. And maybe you feel that way, that's fine, but understand that you have a lot more power and presence because it takes a lot more to come into physical form than to stay at the non-physical level, no matter how powerful you are. No matter, let me rephrase that, no matter how powerful this other entity may seem. Yeah. And that has to do with owning yourself and owning who you are at the deepest level, the brilliance of who you are. There you go. So let's ignite that a bit more. Focusing on your chest. And just on breathing, like you're breathing into your chest, into your heart space, if you want, that energetic area. Okay, just going to anchor that into people. Some of you have, oh, Roma, hey. Some of you have a lot. Yeah, maybe this is you, Roma. I don't think it's just you, though. All right, let me find those words again. There's a lot of resistance to experience that presence of self, that deep presence of self. There's religious paradigm that's still in there. Yeah, there we go. Wow. There is that dead people. Roma, I think you also have this thing with dead people around you because that's come up before. So coming in more deeply, that separation, this is not me. And even if it's the heart palpitation, so you're feeling, well, that's my physical body. Maybe not. It's making your physical body react, but you can feel that response and say, this is not me. And it's like, notice your physical body any way they can, even more. It says, this is me. Oh, so there we go. So yeah, there's I was saying resistance. It's not, yeah, different things that are coming up with resistance for people against really coming into there. So there's a little bright light at the core of your being. Vaughn, that might be you. And yet there's all this. There's been a lot of stuff that's been put around that and believing that that's you. It's like the shining star. And it's like, no. Yeah, there we go. And just affirm, even if you have a hard time really holding on to that concept right here, right now, everyone, just feel into your breath, your physical body, your being. Go as deeply as you can and just say, no, I am this brilliant being. I may not realize this right now. I may not feel like it right now because I'm scared. I've got what's going on. There's like, but at the deepest level, I know I'm that. I just can't quite connect to it in this moment, but I know I'm that at the deepest level because that's the truth. That's the bottom line truth. You take everything else away, and that's what you are. And all this other stuff is not you. We've just been told that it is. We've just kind of taken it in and just assumed that that was correct, and it's not. So that little voice that's there that's sitting, that's no, that's not cute. It's like, no, cut that out. It's like, no. That's that little voice. I wrote down some lines that came through the other day. You get into some really beautiful states, and when you are in those states of feeling that grace and that beauty coming through, and it's like, what is that voice that tells you that you're not this brilliance? Who is that? What is that? Pay no attention to it. So it's coming from a place of fear, of not knowing any better. And it's not you. It doesn't know the truth, so let it go. That brilliance is who you are, is what you are. Yeah. And I can hold that for you in this moment. And in this moment, take advantage of me holding that for you, to start holding it for yourself. And affirm that. It's like, even just, you just admit, it's like, I can't feel that, but I know at the deepest level, this is me. I'm just going to hold on to that. Because even logically, it makes sense. So take, everything comes from source. If you take that belief, or if you're Christian, God created existence. If you take the Vedic system, at first there's consciousness, and then consciousness wanted to know itself and just subdivided itself over and over and over again to have all of existence. It always takes us back to the same point, to source, that pure state of consciousness, pure being. And that's what you are, because you're not outside of the system. You're not outside of that. You are here. You are in that. There's no way around it. There's no way to put yourself out of that, even though we managed to up here, So, yeah, deep breath in. All right, just want to anchor in that in for people a little bit more deeply. So it's like this, visually, it's like this little bright light that's just shining there in people's space. Yeah. Yeah, very good. And a little bit, let's see if we can do a little bit of a reset out there on the nervous system too. Huh. There we go. Huh. Huh. There we go. Better. Yeah, much better. Wow. Okay, step. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot of that dead people energy floating around here. So That's just part of everybody's holding really well. So you're all holding really, yeah, you're all doing really well. And holding yourself and holding your space might feel a little edgy, but you are all doing well. There we go. Huh. Okay, so just taking a nice deep breath into that. Robot, there's kind of this sense of obligation with you because this is not the first time that there's been a lot of dead people. I want to say it's the third time that I'm remembering when you've come on to coming into being. And there's just a lot of this dead energy around you. So there's a sense of obligation in there that you might want to take a look at. And I know you're good at working with those things, so we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah, so otherwise, and notice that. And so whether it's dead people, dead energies, and so dead people, it means people who have died, like you can label them as ghosts, but they don't necessarily come through as ghosts. It's just like these energies of dead people that are still floating around the living. But whether it's that or anybody else, because when you're thinking about someone that you know, living person you're talking about, even if it's just a good friend, you know how sometimes you really get caught up and you're really remembering that time you spent together and you almost feel like you're there and you're kind of reliving it. You've just lifted yourself out of your present time space moment and carried yourself all the way into another one. So that's just as bad. And that will kind of put you, so physically what that might, energetically what that will feel like is you've got your physical body and then you've got this other stuff, this other energy of this other time and place and person that's floating around you that's distorting you. So this is the piece of coming into your body when you notice that it's like, wow, feels kind of congested around me. And you might even feel congested. It's like, okay, that's not me. You know, feel into your skin, feel it in, and literally you can touch your body if you need that extra anchoring of that tangible physical sensation. Do that for yourself because you need to separate out from that what is not you. Clear up your space. You know, it's like wherever you feel it, it's like, no, this is me coming into more deeply. Yeah. Okay. So, work in progress. Good work, everybody. Good. It's a pretty calm session, but there's just that piece of there's your space, and then there's all this other stuff outside of some people's space, not everybody, but that just wants to come in. So notice that for yourself. Claim your physical time, space, body, and being. And come into that stillness of your mind and your body. We call it the stillness because it's like there's in the stillness of mind, you don't have these thoughts going on. You're just really present on your breath with your physical awareness. Stillness of being, where even if you're moving, everything is just in that state of quiet within. And then I'm glancing at your comment. I'm just like, oh God, yeah. And then letting everything else out of the way. Spot on. I have spent about 2 months at my family house, and I have felt presences around a lot. Okay, so last week there's somebody else who's it was maybe the week before, who's house sitting, and she said she was in a 100-year-old house, and there's all this stuff. It's like, so when you have to go into that space, because I'm assuming you're maybe not there anymore, but this is like work in progress. So look at that obligation piece too. Yeah. In family, it's like, how and why are you obligated? There's a lot of religious paradigm in that. And family will tie into the religious paradigm. Will anchor that religious paradigm. So those two really get enmeshed like that, and it gets pretty convoluted, right? So work through those spaghetti mesh, one string at a time, one spaghetti at a time. Remove those for yourself. Go through that. It's like, how am I being obligated? How do I believe this? Where is this coming from? Why am I still holding on to that? Little by little. There's a lot in, it's that I recognize it because it's that European flavor. I can recognize because I have some of that. So just work, keep at it. And when you start feeling those presences around, start to like hunker down. It's like, no, and keep moving through it. So, because we can be in those. So if, like, one way to look at it, it's like if somebody else can come into the same environment and not be impacted and not notice all this stuff, it's like, why in the hell am I noticing all this stuff? Because there's quite a bit where we're going on. We've got all these stories that we're telling, especially if it's family, things that we know, or if it's soul stuff to somebody else's house, it's still probably triggering that. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. There's somewhere in there. It's bringing us up. So it's like, no, I'm here. You guys are dead. No, this is my space. I am not the light. I'm not carrying you forward. Sometimes it helps to have those little conversations because something is listening. So I know you're working through a lot of that, and you just have to keep at it until you walk in there, and it's like, like I'm living in this family apartment here. So I've had to do quite a lot of working through similar items. I mean, we've got 4 generations of family sitting around here, of things sitting around here. So you have to keep saying, no, 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 no. Everybody in their place. Absolutely not. And undoing all of those programmings of that. So good job for you. Keep doing it. we're rooting for you. we're we're on your side. So, and being on somebody's side. Oh, Carolina, being on somebody's side, like what I just said, is being on everybody's side because everybody needs to be in their own space, not all meshed in together. That it's so distorting for everybody. And it's not once you die, it's like it's fine, they're out of the way. No, they're not. They are clearly not out of the way. So, anyways, good job, everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday as always, and we'll see where next Wednesday takes us. Kind of a quiet, gentle session, but working good, doing good. So, take care, everybody. I have to sign off properly here with Instagram first, so get coordinated here. So thanks everybody for stopping by, and see you next time around in the ethers, wherever else we connect. Take care.